You know, it's very important for an energy auditor to understand the relationships between windows, energy, and comfort. And that's what this lesson is all about. We're going to look at two situations. We're going to look at the effect of windows during the time that we are heating in the wintertime. And we're going to also look at the effect of windows when we're cooling in the summertime. A lot of people think that their energy problems are primarily about windows. And much of the time, their problems are not primarily about windows. So there's a misconception among customers. A customer will often tell you, well, it's these darn leaky windows, especially when they're talking about heating in the wintertime. Now, windows provide us with a view, they provide us with ventilation, and they provide us with natural light. And because of those benefits, they are also the weak point in the wall, because there's just a pane or two panes, at the most 3 panes of glass between you and the outdoors. And glass is not a very good insulating material. So, you know, to be able to have the view and the natural light and the ventilation, being able to open and close them, there are some disadvantages that we just need to put up with. Now, the better windows that we have now take away a lot of those disadvantages, but normal windows have some disadvantages. Let's talk about the effect that a window has on a heated house and on the comfort of the people inside of the heated house during the winter heating season. So during the winter heating season, we've got a window. And we've got a difference in temperature between the outdoors and the indoors. Say it's 30 degrees outside, 65 degrees inside. So we have a 35-degree difference in temperature. The coldest temperature in the room, the coldest surface temperature in the room is going to be the windows. So the window glass is going to have an effect, numerous effects that we'll talk about. The first effect is that when air gets next to this cold surface, when the 65-degree air gets next to this, say, 40-degree surface, it becomes denser. The air becomes denser and it falls. And then other air moves in behind it. And we get a convection current through the room. And this is often felt by people as a draft. And sometimes they think that their windows are leaking a lot of air because they can feel a lot of air movement near the windows. And sometimes, definitely, the windows are leaking. But the convection current is often mistaken for air leakage. So we do have some possible air leakage through the window, although sometimes, and even very often, the air leakage through the window is not a big deal. It's not a large energy loss. But this convection current does have an effect on comfort. And it's why that we see that there's often a register, a heat register, or a radiator that's underneath the window. Because that register or heat radiator is going to help counteract this convection current. Another factor that we have is the people in the house actually losing heat by radiation to the glass. Because the glass is the coldest surface in the room, people are going to lose radiant heat to the glass. And they're going to feel that by their skin, on their neck or on their arm is going to feel cold because the heat is leaving their skin. It's forming an infrared ray, and it's flying through space and hitting the window. Now the window, because it's heated by the interior of the home, is going to be emitting infrared radiation toward the outside. Now if we were to take an infrared scanner, which is a device where you can see heat instead of light, and look at the side of the buildings, the windows would be glowing. And it's because they're emitting infrared radiation, and they're emitting a lot more infrared radiation than the materials around them in the wall. So then our last effect on the interior of the home is if we have single pane glass in a home and the temperature gets very cold and we have a fairly high relative humidity inside of the house, when the air gets near to the inside of this pane of glass, this cold pane of glass, the temperature of the air drops. And when the temperature of the air drops, it's unable to hold on to all its water vapor. So some of the water vapor condenses into liquid water, and that's why droplets, you'll see droplets of water fogging the glass, or why you'll see ice on the glass. That ice has come from the water vapor that's contained in the air inside the house. A lot of people don't understand this. Customers may think that water is leaking from the outside through their windows, or they may have some completely different idea. It's important to be able to educate the customer on actually what is happening with their windows. Okay, then we have solar radiation. Now the sun in the wintertime is low in the sky, and we're going to, if this window faces the south, then we can get some solar radiation through the window, which helps to heat the house. Of course, the heat that is generated by the human beings also helps to heat the house, but on most American homes require so much heat that the amount of heat that they get from the sun, or the amount of heat that they get from the people living in the homes, doesn't really add up to much in comparison with the heat that they need. Now the sun can give us energy in two ways. We can get direct solar gain. This is what we would call direct solar gain, coming right from the sun. You can see the sun from the window. There's a direct line of sight between the sun and the glass, and so we have the solar radiation going right through the glass. Or the solar radiations can also come down and hit a reflective surface like snow and be reflected right back through the glass. So when we have a lot of snow on the ground, we're going to get more solar radiation being beamed into the house, and it will have more of an effect to heat the house.